I would say my attitude toward training is a mixture of passion, determination and obsession. I've always said if anyone wants to be the top of any sport, you've got to be obsessed with what you do in your craft. I'm obsessed with achieving the goal, and that's always been to compete at the CrossFit Games. And I've also got the passion because I love it. I would never be able to come into the gym every single day and put myself through this pain and hate the process. There's definitely a weird, twisted sort of kind of energy and vibe I get from putting myself in a hole. I kind of like that in a weird, strange way. The next 3 weeks is obviously important. It's the start of the Open. But one key word that sticks out to me is redemption. So obviously winning the UK Open last year opened a lot of doors to opportunities and to working with other brands. One of them brands is G-Shock, and it's enabled me to really dial in on data that I didn't have last year. So it helps me with my recovery, monitoring my heart rate during certain training sessions. Tells me if I'm fully recovered. I can tell from my body if I should go slightly harder in this workout or slightly easier. And those overall different aspects all pulled together has made me fitter and most definitely a smarter athlete now than I was last year. I'm definitely fueling myself better. I've got a nutrition coach which helps me with my diet, whereas last year I didn't have that. So going into the Open, having a nutrition coach in your corner telling you what to eat, what times to eat it, is going to make a massive difference as well. So yeah, lots of things with training data, nutrition, recovery, all my supplements for my protein, they're all going to come together to make that, hopefully that extra 1% difference that's going to take me to the next level.
First one down?
Yeah, battered. That was hard. Right, so let's go through today's workout. First one of the day. It's going to start with a 15-minute EMOM. So EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. So my reps, I'm going to do 24 dumbbell snatches. So if it takes me 40 seconds to do that, I've got a 20-second rest. Then the second minute, I'm going to do 20 burpees over dumbbells. This is where my heart rate is going to jack up. This exercise is probably going to be the hardest. I'm going to be getting maybe 5 to 10 second rest. Third exercise, 100 double unders. That's the movement I want to try and control my heart rate, have a little bit of recovery whilst I'm doing the movement. And then we'll repeat that process 15 minutes. We'll have a short rest, and then we're going to go into some sprint work every 2 minutes for 5 rounds, so 10 minutes in total, 20 wall balls, and 10 burpee box jump overs. So this workout is going to be a very high intense workout, so my heart rate is probably going to be around 80 to 85%, pretty much from word go. So I'll be tracking that on the G-Shock throughout to see how my heart rate is coping through this 15-minute workout.
So yeah, I've been training with Zack now for the last, I think, 2.5 to 3 years. And I think this year, or 2021 more than ever, really is a great opportunity for him to go all the way to the CrossFit Games. I think following 2020's disappointment of not going to the Games and obviously it only happening remote, I think there's only added fuel to his fire, and I've seen a real change in intensity and focus with him throughout this period.
So obviously last year I qualified for the CrossFit Games, and it's been a 7-year goal that I wanted to tick off. Finally achieved that goal, and then the pandemic hit and my spot got taken away. So I was extremely gutted, but it didn't stop me from driving towards my goal and sticking with it. Session 1 done, good session, extremely tough. It's always good to start the week with a really good fitness session Monday morning. So post-workout nutrition, I've got a balanced meal of just some bolognese. So even though it's the first week of the CrossFit Open, my nutrition has not changed one bit. Last year, before all the changes were announced for the new season, if this was the normal Open like last year where you could qualify for the games, I would be on a very strict diet now, and I'd probably aiming to get down to about 94, 95 kilos. Funny enough, I'm actually 95 kilos now because last week I was really ill. From Sunday till Friday, I was completely wiped out. Had some sort of food intolerance reaction, and I lost 4.5 kilos last week. So I'm pretty light at the minute, which I shouldn't be this light, but yeah, my nutritionist wants me to be peaking for around May, June when the semi-finals are. So that's where I want to be in my peak shape, and that's where I want to be about 94, 95 kilograms. And then obviously fingers crossed qualify through there, then obviously peak for the games. But yeah, so nutrition is pretty normal at the minute. Just get through this first stage, get through the second stage, and then we really want to be gearing up for the semi-finals. CrossFit for me, I have it from two sides, so from a business side and then from an athlete's point of view. So from the business side, I own CrossFit BFG with my business partner Harmeet. It's an amazing community. If you've never been to a CrossFit box, you probably don't really understand how strong the community is, but it's basically a massive family. So people come, they'll have a great training session for the hour, but then they'll end up spending another hour just chatting with their friends and socialising, because that is where people choose to socialise. From a business point of view, obviously that pays us both a wage, and we love training with the community and teaching people CrossFit and getting CrossFit out there to as many people as we can. And then from an athlete point of view, it's also my job to be the best athlete I possibly can. So coming into the gym, training as hard as I can twice a day, every single day, competing in the sport and travelling around the world and travelling to all the different locations to compete, and it's given me so many opportunities from the athlete point of view to experience so many different things. So just finished with that call. It was obviously over Zoom because we're in lockdown at the minute. Just a call with a magazine, just about CrossFit and my journey and things like that. So that went on for about 45 minutes, an hour. Now doing some recovery. Obviously first week of the Open, recovery is so important. So I'll probably spend about 15-20 minutes doing this in the tight areas that I'm feeling tight. So at the minute my traps are feeling really congested. It's going into my neck. So focus on those areas for today, and my calves, because I did a lot of double unders early in that first session. And then I'm going to get a nap for about 25 minutes, half an hour. After a nap, I feel so re-energised after a nap, so it's so important, especially because we're going into the first week of the Open. So yeah, I'm going to have a small nap, and then I'll get some food, another balanced meal, and then we'll go back to the gym for 5 o'clock. So the first session we did was very high intensity, it was very engine, cardio based. Heart rate was probably 80% from the word go, and it kept increasing all the way through, so a very intense session. Whereas when we get back at 5 o'clock, it's going to be weightlifting and gymnastics based, so the heart rate is going to be a lot lower, a lot more focused on lifting the heavier weights with really good form, really good technique, working on speed under the bar, focus on mobility, and then we'll work on some gymnastic volume work. We'll probably do bar muscle-ups and toes to bars today, so, and then we'll spend a lot of time recovering and stretching after that. So now we're on session 2. So weightlifting session, we've got 5 rounds, 20 cal bike, 3 squat snatches, building in weight over the rounds. I always warm up my knees with the voodoo bands. It really helps with like tendonitis and get my knees feeling warm. If I go into it cold, then my knees always sort of hurt. So my warm up, I'll do SOTS press, just normal bodyweight squats, get my knees warmed up, and then we'll start adding some weight to the barbell.
I'm a little greedy, just a little. Give it to you strong, heavy metal. I don't make a sound when I strike. You better just run for your life. Run for your life.
So last year the Open was extremely important process because you could get your ticket to the games from that, whereas now it's like a staged process. So it's a 3-week Open to start with. You've got to get the top 10% within Europe. I'll probably just do the Open workouts once, I won't repeat them. The workouts just absolutely fatigue you to another level that you don't really replicate in training. So I don't want to put myself in that position because I still want to have a good block of training. The first stage Open, I just want to tick the workout off, carry on with normal training, still progressing, and then you've got the next stage a couple weeks after where you've got to get the top 60 in Europe, and then you've got to get to the semi-finals, which are either in Germany and Lowlands. So I definitely don't want to be peaking for this stage Open. I want to be peaking for around May, June time. So very different format this season, but I'm extremely looking forward to it.